Program is made possible by a grant from Pan American Life Insurance Company. It's Varsity Quiz Bowl, and today, Henry Curall, Mark Abart, Edie Sheramy, and Clark Otin from South Lafourche High School will meet in a battle of quick recall. Leslie Castay, Terry Thibodeau, Lorena Donnell, and Armour Radcliffe from Ursuline Academy. The alternate from South Lafourche is James Callahan, and the coach, Louis Plaisance. And the alternate from Ursuline is Giselle Tompkins, and the coach, Lita Chestnut. And now, here's our moderator, Mel Levitt.
Thank you. Thank you very much, everyone, and welcome once again to Varsity Quiz Bowl. This is the end of our second round of play, and after this game, we'll have only 16 remaining contenders for the championship prize. Right now, before we begin, let me introduce our judge for today, Dr. Ann Akers. Our scorer, once again, is Phyllis Hartley, Associate Director of Records at the University of New Orleans. And our recognizer for today's match is Leslie Capo, a staff member at WYES-TV. Let's give them a nice round of applause. Okay, we're ready to go. Ursuline Academy versus South Lafourche. Unbeaten, 1-for-1. Ready? Let's go. Face off. Leading up now to a lanyap of 20 points. President Ronald Reagan's fiscal austerity drive is nowhere more evident than in the revised blueprint for 1982 federal research spending. Stirring the loudest outcry in the science community is a move to virtually strip the National Science Foundation of one of its vital programs. For 10 points, what is this program which should be of particular importance to you? Anyone? Want to make a guess? Take a shot?
Ursuline Donnell.
Basic Opportunity Grant.
No, afraid not. South Lafourche? Well, it's a good stab.
South Lafourche Martin.
Science Talent Search?
No, all around it. Actually, science education would be almost eliminated in the grant stage, which is one of the reasons we asked this. A lot of people don't know it, unfortunately. Another face-off. We're going for a lanyap of 20 again. For a quick 10, name El Salvador's president and titular head of the civilian military junta.
Ursuline Radcliffe.
Duarte.
That is correct. Jose Napoleon Duarte for 10 points. Ursuline's on the board. Girls, you have a chance now to pick up 20 more points. This is an audio lanyap. I'm going to ask some questions in just a moment, but right now I'd like you to listen to the music that we're going to play, and then we'll ask the questions, all right? We're going to give you a little head start to the two questions we'll ask, ladies, by telling you that what you've heard is Jesu, Joy of Man's Desiring by Johann Sebastian Bach. Now, for 10 points each, can you tell me the musical form of the work and the name of the period to which it belongs?
The musical form is...
What is the form of that music you just heard?
It's like Baroque, and the period is Baroque, the form is...
All right, we're going to ask for an answer, please, ladies.
It's a fugue, and it's Baroque.
Baroque is the period, however, it happens to be a cantata. You pick up 10 points, though. Ursuline Academy. We have another face-off. We're going for a lanyap of 20 teams. At the meet in San Diego with the world's fastest, or rather 4 fastest, indoor milers racing on the fastest track in the circuit, he hit the tape at 350.6. 2 awesome seconds ahead of his own world record.
South Lafourche Martin.
Eamon Coughlin?
That's correct. Eamon Coughlin from Ireland. 10 points for South Lafourche. You trailed by 10, and here's a chance to pick up 20 more in a lanyap. An interagency group headed by CIA General Counsel Daniel Silver has prepared a draft executive order that relaxes restrictions on the CIA's conduct with a covering letter signed by the CIA director and OSS veteran. A protest in Congress prompted the CIA's deputy director to disavow it all. All right, for 10 points apiece, identify the CIA director and the deputy director. Both have been in the headlines. May I ask for an answer? The director is William Casey, and the deputy director is Admiral Bobby Ray Inman. Okay, we have a lanyap of 20 points coming up following this short face-off. For a quick 10, in what year did Israel proclaim itself a state?
South Lafourche, Currall.
1949.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Ursuline, can you answer? Mustering in?
Ursuline Thibodeau.
1957.
No, actually it was 1948. 1948. Another face-off. The Secretary of State of Louisiana's Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism and Governor Dave Train were present, along with many others, at recent dedication ceremonies of the Poverty Point archaeological site. For 10 points, what's considered to be most significant of that?
South Lafourche, Mart.
Indian burial ground.
Judge, I think that's a little too general.
Burial grounds in Louisiana.
Judge says there are many Indian burial grounds. We said most significant. We're going to have to turn it over to Ursuline Academy. Anyone?
Ursuline Thibodeau.
It's underneath the mental hospital.
No. No, the most significant thing by far is this. It is the oldest culture, it's believed to be the oldest culture discovered in the Mississippi Valley. Okay, another face-off. This exhibition's been seen by hundreds of thousands of museum visitors all over the country. It'll be coming to the New Orleans Museum of Art in September. Included will be approximately 100 of the characters from the award-winning television and motion picture productions. For 10 points, what is this
Ursuline Donnells.
An exhibition of Walt Disney's animation.
No.
South Lafourche, Jeremy.
Exhibition of the Muppets.
That's correct, it is. The Art of the Muppets. Exhibition of the Muppets artistry. Pick up 10 points. Here's a 20-point lanyap. Mount St. Helens appears to be quiet for a while, but another volcano in another part of the world is active and posing a threat to several towns. For 10 points each, name the volcano and tell me in what country is it located?
Stromboli in Italy.
No, I'm afraid it's Mount Etna in Sicily. Stromboli, of course, is another volcano, but not the one we're talking about that's becoming active. We have another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 20. The Beaufort Sea, Amundsen Gulf, and the Chukchi Sea are all part of a larger ocean. For 10 points, identify that ocean.
South Lafourche, Currall.
The Indian Ocean.
No, that's incorrect. Ursuline. Anyone?
Ursuline Thibodeau.
The Atlantic Ocean.
No, it's the Arctic Ocean. The Arctic Ocean. We have another face-off going for a lanyap at 20. It's a bell-shaped symmetrical frequency distribution, which has an unlimited range and is...
Ursuline Castay.
Parabola.
No. We'll repeat it now for South Lafourche. Must bring for recognition. No consultation. It's a bell-shaped symmetrical frequency distribution which has an unlimited range and is asymptotic to the baseline. For 10 points, what is the mathematical term for the figure I've just described?
South Lafourche, Mart.
Circle.
No. What we're talking about is the normal distribution curve. All right, another face-off. Quick one. In 1972, Congress passed a law known as Title IX. For 10 points, what did this law forbid? Title IX, anyone? It forbade sex discrimination in education. Another face-off. This American architect of the classic revival period was official architect of public buildings in Washington, D.C. in the first half of the 19th century. For 10 points, name this man who designed the Washington Monument. Designer of the Washington Monument.
South Lafourche, Jeremy.
Frank Lloyd Wright.
No. Ursuline, anyone? Robert Mills was his name. And there's a buzzer. All right. We're going to move now into a period of rapid fire, during which I ask the questions, of course, as quickly as they're answered. If you answer correctly, it's 10 points. An incorrect answer is a -5. And we proceed, of course, apace until the end of the 2-minute countdown round. And I'm having a little difficulty finding my rapid fire, but here it is. So, you're familiar with those rules. Remember, you have no referrals on these questions. Only one to a customer, and we continue immediately. The key in this particular rapid fire round is that every one of the answers begins with the letter E. Not necessarily E as in easy, but E. All right, if you're ready, let's go. The phylum to which starfish, sea urchins, and sand dollars belong.
Ursuline Thibodeau.
Euripida.
No, it's Echinodermata. Daughter and heiress of William X, wife of Henry Plantagenet, successively Queen of France and England.
Ursuline Castay.
Eleanor of Aquitaine.
That's correct for 10 points. A general convocation of the 3 groups of the French monarchy, which met intermittently from 1302 to 1789.
South Lafourche, Mart.
A Stade General.
That's correct. Noble title of Robert Devereux, a favorite courtier of Queen Elizabeth I.
Ursuline
Noble
Radcliffe.
title.
Esquire?
No, it was Essex. He was the Earl of Essex. In law, the right of the state to acquire or to authorize the acquisition of private property for public use.
Ursuline Castay.
Eminent domain.
That's correct. Author of the love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. His name was Eliot. T.S. Eliot. Capital of the Canadian province of Alberta.
Edmonton.
South Lafourche.
Edmonton is correct. Earl of Gloucester in Shakespeare's King Lear. His name was Edgar. The woman of Astolat who loved Sir Lancelot. Lancelot and Astolat, and her name was Elaine. Another word for a mercy death.
Ursuline Thibodeau.
Euthanasia.
Correct. A narrative poem by Henry Wadsworth Longfellow in unrhymed English hexameter.
South Lafourche Mard.
Evangeline.
That is right. The branch of linguistic science devoted to determining the origin of words.
Ursuline Castay.
Etymology.
Correct. A Latin word sometimes used in English literature are legal documents, meaning thusly or therefore.
Ursuline Thibodeau.
Ergo.
Correct. Second only to the ostrich, the largest living bird.
South Lafourche Mard.
It's an emu. The proprieties, conventions, and standard forms of social life as authorized by custom and usage.
Ursuline Donnell.
Etiquette.
That's correct. The site of Napoleon Bonaparte's exile from
South
1814 to...
Lafourche Mard.
Elba.
Correct. The subject dealt with and described by Hooke's law is elasticity. Inflammation of the brain tissues is encephalitis, and the buzzer says that's the end of the first half. Okay, very close game. Ursuline 60, South Lafourche 50, a very tough and testing game, incidentally, too. We'll be back in just a moment to meet the contestants and talk about their future plans right after this.
We don't have all day, Miss Scott.
I don't know how the word mistake applies, sir.
Yeah, you know the word as well as anybody.
I'm afraid.
In your class today, the black girls seem to be having difficulty.
I'll be better than good.
Not if you don't change your attitude.
You said equal, Mr. Correll. Well, damn it, treat me that way.
See it Wednesday night at 7 on Channel 12.
We'll continue play in a second half in just a few minutes, but right now we're going to talk to the contestants about their future plans. And we'll start with South Lafourche High School. Over at the end, Henry, what about you?
I plan on going to Southeastern and majoring in accounting.
Very good. Mark, what are your plans?
First, let me state that our first alternate, David Danos, he's in the hospital right now. He hurt his arm. It has no feeling in it, and we want to dedicate this game to him. So if Ursuline would let us win and do him a good favor, yes. We'd appreciate it. I'm sure he'd be happy. No, I'm a senior. I'm going to be attending LSU, majoring in civil engineering. I'm probably going to get out, buy me a big boat company, make lots of money so I can hunt, fish, and party for the rest of my life.
Was that a brief profile, or was that a... I'm not sure. That was beautiful. Deanie, how about you?
I think I'll go to LSU and bum around for 4 or 5 years until I get my BS in psychology.
All right. And then what are you going to do? Go join him on his boat? Good luck.
From psychologist to the president.
Very good. Very good. I love it, Deanie. How about you, Clark?
Oh, I plan to attend LSU and major in some type of business or science field.
Excellent. Well, I want to wish you an awful lot of good luck, and also to the first alternate. We'll be praying for him. South Lafourche, it's always great to have you on the show. Of course, Ursuline, very distinctive group here. I think we have the salutatorian and the valedictorian with us today. Leslie, what are your plans?
Well, I will be attending Newcomb College in the fall and majoring in either psychology or music.
Very good. Terry?
I'll be at Spring Hill College in Mobile studying chemistry. Hopefully after that I'd like to go to medical school.
Very good. How about you, Lorraine?
I'll probably major in liberal arts, and I hope to attend St. John's College in Maryland.
And Norma?
I'd like to study linguistics of some kind, and I'd like to go to either Yale or I'm also looking at an American college in Switzerland.
Your brother played in this game, didn't he?
Yes.
That's
Sure
right.
did.
He was outstanding with Jesuit, and he's at Yale, too.
Yeah.
Good luck to each and every one of you from Ursuline Academy. And I hear our music. So let's get back to the podium. And we'll start dishing out some questions here. As we see the score stands, Ursuline Academy 60, South Lafourche High School 50. Only 10 points between the two teams. Our first face-off leads to a lanyap at 20, and it's a visual one. So we'd like you to look at the monitors here in front of you, and you'll see some spidery constructions that were the 33-year labor of an Italian immigrant, Simone Rodia. They tower above a dismal area of Los Angeles that some years ago was the scene of one of the worst riots in this country's history. For 10 points, what's the name of this section of Los Angeles? Anyone?
South Lafourche, Mard.
Anaheim.
No, I'm afraid not. Ursuline? Anyone want to take a shot? Watts. It's over the section of Watts, predominantly black, where this great riot occurred. And that's where the structure you just saw now exists. Here we have a face-off again. Not a visual one, but we're again going for 20 points a lanyap. So we all know boys love boats, and John Lehman must be the happiest boy in America right now. For 10 points, what's the job held by John Lehman, who must help President Reagan name a new aircraft carrier? What's the job held by John Lehman? Anyone want to take a shot?
South Lafourche, Mard.
Secretary of Defense.
No. Ursuline?
Ursuline Thibodeau.
Secretary of the Navy.
That's the job. Secretary of the Navy. He's got all the boats he wants now to play with. You have a lanyap at 20 coming up, Ursuline. The most important tournaments for individual tennis players are the national championships of 4 countries. Together, these matches make up the Grand Slam of tennis. For 5 points each, name these 4 national tournaments. We'll give you just a little more time to compile your list, and then we're going to ask you for your answer. Captain, one list of 4, please. Terry?
The United States Open, Wimbledon,
All right.
French Open,
All right.
and
One more.
Italian Open.
No, well, you got all 3. You got 3. The last one was incorrect. It's the Australian Open that comprises the Grand Slam, but that's 3 out of 4, and it's 15 points for Ursuline. Here's another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 30. Her real name was Gertrude Margaret Zelle. Z-E-L-L-E.
Ursuline Castay.
Matahari.
That was her other name. The famous spy of World War I, later executed by a firing squad. You have a 30-point lanyap, ladies. About 3/4 of the Arabian Peninsula is bordered by water. For 5 points apiece, name the 6 bodies of water, the 6 bodies of water that border this peninsula. The Arabian. All right, we'll give you a little time now to compile your list in consultation, and then Terry will ask you to give us one list of 6. That's a very strategic peninsula, as you all know, in the oil-rich area of the Middle East. Thus, each of these particular seas or gulfs or whatever take on significance. Yes?
The Arabian Sea, the Persian Gulf, the Indian Ocean, the Mediterranean, the Gulf of Oman,
All right.
and the Red Sea.
Well, 4 of them are correct. The Red Sea, this is a toughie. Red Sea, Arabian Sea, Gulf of Oman, Persian Gulf. The other 2 are the Gulf of Aqaba and the Gulf of Aden. That gives you 20 points, Ursuline. We have a face-off now, team. This is for a lanyap at 20 points coming up. For a quick 10, tell me who, at the age of 42, became Major League Baseball's oldest rookie? Think back. Age was 42 when he got into the major leagues. Anyone want to take a shot? Satchel Paige. Satchel Paige. Another face-off. For 10 points, tell me what great battle fought on April the 21st, 1836, reversed the tragedy suffered by the Texans at the Battle of the Alamo.
South Lafourche, Mard.
Battle of San Jacinto.
That's correct. All right, you have a lanyap at 20 coming up, South Lafourche. The latest list of the 10 largest American corporations, ranked in terms of total profits, not sales, makes for some very interesting reading. All but 2 are oil companies. Now, for 10 points apiece, name the 2 corporations on that list that are not oil companies. The 2 non-oil companies. We're talking again, I repeat, about total profits, not sales necessarily, or volume.
IBM and Xerox.
IBM is correct for 10. The other is AT&T. You've got 10 more points, South Lafourche. Another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 20. It is the name of a major Christian feast day and the beginning of the carnival season. It's also called 12...
Day.
King's Eve. Never mind.
I think we're zeroing in, but we don't have time. We're going to repeat now for South Lafourche. No consultation, remember, you must ring in. It is the name of a major Christian feast day and the beginning of the carnival season. It's also called 12th Day or 12th Night, or the Feast of Kings in some places. For 10 points, what's the more correct, proper name for this day? It's on the Christian calendar as Epiphany. All right, we have another face-off. They deserted their party nominee, J.G. Blaine, in 1884 to vote for Grover Cleveland, the Democratic nominee. For 10 points, what was the slang term applied to these Republicans?
South Lafourche, Mard.
Mugwumps?
That's right. They were the Mugwumps. Someone said they were named because they had their mug on one side of the fence and their wump on the other, but I'm not sure. Lanyap at 20 points coming up. The South is steeped in tradition and history, particularly Civil War history, for 5 points apiece. Tell me the name of Jefferson Davis's last home and where it is located, and then we'll have another 10-pointer. His last home, where is it? Jeff Davis. Anyone want to take a stand?
Mississippi.
Be specific. You have to be town, not state.
Biloxi, Mississippi.
That's right. Okay, what did he call it? Anybody know? It's called Beauvoir. Beauvoir. Now, for another 5 points apiece, tell me the name of Davis's boyhood home and where it is located. Again, being specific as to town site.
Charleston, South Carolina.
No, it's Rosemont, and it was Woodville, Mississippi. You picked up, however, 5 more points, South Lafourche. We have a face-off for leading to, I should say, Lanyap at 30. The 10th flagpole in honor of the European Community's Brussels headquarters has stood naked since 1972. At the last minute then, Norway balked at linking up with the organization. Now there's a flag flying from that pole, but it isn't Norway's. For 10 points...
South Lafourche, Mard.
Spain.
No, I'm afraid that's incorrect. Ursuline, can you take it?
Ursuline Thibodeau.
Finland.
No, it was Greece. Another face-off for 10 points. What phrase is both a green plant and a popular name given to the legendary doorkeeper for Pontius Pilate, who was condemned to roam the earth until the second coming of Christ? Remember, it's a phrase, very common phrase, the wandering Jew. All right, another face-off. The gospel, according to this Canadian professor and author, declared, the medium is the message. For 10 points, name this communications theorist who died New Year's Eve at the age of 69. The medium is the message, he proclaimed. His theories influenced many people and discouraged others. His name was Marshall McLuhan of Toronto. We have another face-off. The region has been a frequent bone of contention between France and Germany ever since the 17th century.
Ursuline Donnells.
Alsace-Lorraine.
You're right on target. 10 points. Here is a Lanyap of 30 points. I'll give you 30 points now if you can identify this after one clue. 20 points if it takes 2, 10 points if you get it on the third. The first clue for 30 points is this. He was born in London, April 16, 1921, to a well-known journalist of Russian ancestry, and Nadia Benoist, an artist. That's not too much of a clue, but perhaps you could sniff it out. Anyone? We'll have to move along. You want to take a shot? All right, second clue, 20 points. He wrote his first play at the age of 19. When The House of Regrets, that was the title, was published 2 years later, he was hailed as Britain's most promising playwright. His Broadway productions include The Love of Four Colonels. You figure out yet who this might be? Try another one. For 10 points, in his first American film, he played Nero in Quo Vadis. His Romanoff and Juliet had its opening in New York, and he won Oscars for Best Supporting Actor in Spartacus and Topkapi. I added a K that wasn't there. Imagine this, it's a remarkable man of all seasons, Peter Ustinov, playwright, actor, bon vivant, you name it. Another face-off. That was tough. We're going for a Lanyap at 20. He was a humanist, psychoanalyst, and author who died last March at age 79. He wrote of the alienation of man in an increasingly technological world. For 10 points, name this author of works such as Escape from Freedom, The Sane Society, and The Art of Loving.
Ursuline Donnells.
Fromm. Fromm.
You're right it was, Eric Fromm. I'd explain it. Would you please speak up, because we're way across the studio here, and sometimes I don't hear too clearly. You have a Lanyap at 20. Dick Tracy was created by Chester Gould, and Peanuts was created by Charles Schulz. For 5 points apiece now, name the creators of the following comic strips. Number 1, Nancy. Nancy.
Brown.
No, was there any Bushmiller, or is? Spider-Man. Now, there's a classic. Spider-Man. Stan Lee. Blondie. Blondie.
Two names, somebody and somebody.
I'll ask for the answer. It's Chick Young. And finally, BC. His name is Johnny Hart. Here's another face-off. We're going for a lanyap at 20. In 1938, Eric Knight wrote a dog story for his daughter. It was originally published as a short story.
Ursuline Donnells.
Lassie, come home.
That was the name of it. Yes, Lassie, come home. Published as a short story, and then he expanded it into a children's book, and after that, well, Lassie became a multimillionairess, I suppose. We have a 20-point lanyap for 5 points apiece. Name the man associated with the following scientific landmarks. First, discovery of the true nature of combustion. Who was the man responsible for it? His name was Antoine Lavoisier, as the buzzer sounds to end our game. We're going to validate our final score, and then we'll be back in just a moment to announce our winner, the team that will advance to the round of 16.
Spend a splendid evening with the Royal Ballet. From the Royal Opera House at Covent Garden, Britain's foremost dance company salutes the U.S. with the music of Scott Joplin and a snappy ragtime step. A delightfully different evening of dance. An evening with the Royal Ballet.
See it Wednesday night at 9:30 on Channel 12.
And there you see the final score, ladies and gentlemen. It's official. Ursuline Academy 140, South Lafourche High School 85. Ursuline advances to the round of 16. Congratulations, ladies. You're the winners. Outstanding game. In fact, both teams played a very outstanding game under great pressure because this was really tough and testing, these questions. And I'm looking forward to seeing South Lafourche back again. And, of course, finding out if Mr. Amort gets his boat. Will he go to Washington? This could make a great mini-series, couldn't it? You always field a competitive team, but beyond that, and this is the most important, when you come up here, everybody enjoys the bit more, and I mean that. Lewis plays on, sir. For South Lafourche. I forget, who's coming back next year from South Lafourche? We got two more. That's Jeremy Otan. Very good. We look forward to that. And, of course, Ursuline, you'll be coming back even sooner, April. And, of course, your competition is going to be St. Paul's School, which won yesterday in round 3. We'll see you then, and we'll see you again next week.
The questions on Varsity Quiz Ball are prepared and authenticated by the WIS editorial research staff and known only in advance to the quizmaster, producer, judge, and researcher. All 64 schools participating in our year-long tournament are matched by blind draw. Selections of team members and methods of preparation are the sole responsibility of the schools and their coaches. The preceding program was made possible by a grant from Pan American Life Insurance Company.